Pick a move in the ring. You can hit me with a word you fling.
Colby Covington confirming he's no longer at American Top Team after he disappeared from their website. He's made it official. He's spoken to Ariel Helwani and James Lynch at the Score. What do we make of it? He says he's now part of Colby Covington Incorporated and he's going to make a new team. But was he pushed more than he left?
Well, that's what it looks like. Looks like he was pushed out from rumors that I've heard from fighters, off the record, or not off the record, but from fighters, that they were both kicked out the gym, and then Jorge was the only one that came back. So I don't know if that necessarily means that he was kicked out or it was his choice to go back. It seems like it was his choice, because he went out and said that he's starting his own company, Colby Chaos Covington Incorporated. And I'm very excited for him, and I'm very excited to see what he can do. And basically what they're doing is they're letting the chains off Colby Covington. You know what I mean? He's done so much with the chains on, but now with the chains off, it's open season. He's hunting and it's exciting. I love it. You know what I mean? Like, of course I love the other side of the respect and the GSP style, but I love the chaos too. And he brings that flavor, and it's going to be so fun to watch. And there's so many matchups, and it's very clear now he can fight anybody. And he looks like he might want to even fight Dustin Poirier, which is someone that he apologized to, but now he took that back. If you watch the interview with James Lynch, shout out to James Lynch. And it's open season. It's hunting season. It's Colby Covington Chaos Incorporated. I love it.
Yeah, I guess it became an untenable position. The trash talking was too much, as you mentioned there. Lambert tried to call a truce and have Dustin and Colby apologize to each other or whatever went on there. Clearly, that truce fell apart and it was broken, and it was just too much. You can't have teammates fighting. And as Masvidal said, it was disrespectful, not just to the team, but to the whole sport of MMA. Do you see it that way? Or is trash talk part of the game? Should teammates be able to feud and publicly insult each other? It goes against productivity, doesn't it?
It does, but at the same time, is it manufactured or not? Is it real? Is it real trash talk? Do they really hate each other? They could be on the same team and hate each other. I've seen fighters that are not the best of friends, but they train together. They've known each other for a long time, and then one day they have to separate, and then you see what happens after that, right? So maybe it was always there, but it seems like it's been there for a couple of years now. He's been like that for a few years at the gym, and it created a bad environment, so to say. And this is the result. But I feel like it works out for Colby at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like, he does look like the asshole a little bit in this, right? In this situation, but for himself, for his business, for his brand, he gets to, flex his wings now. And that's all it's about. I think Colby realized that.
Let's take a little look at what Jorge Masvidal said in that interview with Ariel Helwani. He referred to Colby Covington as a cancer. Pretty strong. Let's get the full quote. Yeah, that dude was never a part of this team. He was just a cancer for the last 3 or 4 years. But at the end of the day, he didn't feel safe in here. I wonder why. So as you said, yeah, it seems like it's been going on for at least 2 years. Some kind of relationship was soured along the way. It's been well documented that Masvidal and Colby were friends, and Colby used to sleep on his sofa.
They were roommates for 8 years.
Well, he alludes to it in there. He says, Colby used to sleep on my couch, and he was crying when he broke his hand, and he considered quitting. And that's why Masvidal thinks he's never going to come back and fight anyone. All this talk about fighting Woodley. He says, look at this. Yeah, he's fragile. He's not a guy who's mentally strong. He used to cry on my couch all the time when he broke his hand the first time. He lived on my couch for about 8 or 9 months. He didn't have a job. He couldn't fight. He thought about quitting 2 or 3 times. So mentally, he's weak. I've been hearing the same thing about his jaw. I'd be surprised if he even comes back to fight. He said he was going to fight Tyron Woodley, but he wasn't training here. He wasn't training anywhere. Woodley was getting ready to fight Leon Edwards, and he actually signed a bout agreement to fight Covington, but Colby pulled out yet again for a third time. So I don't know how he's got anyone even believing him. Yeah, what do you think? Is Colby, we talked about this before, but does he actually want to fight anyone, or is it all just noise?
At the end of the day, he needs to fight, right? And if he's going to fight someone, it's going to be one of the top 5 guys in the division. He's not going to take on somebody below that. That's not who he is. He's been pushing to fight either the champ, Usman, or the number 1 contender, right? That's it. He only has eyes for those fights, and that's clearly his plan. And that's what he's been promoting. I think the Tyron Woodley situation, it was more of him kind of getting back into the swing of things and getting his name in the press and doing his rounds with the media and all that stuff. But yeah, he probably wasn't ready to fight because that jaw probably wasn't ready for another 3 rounds or whatever he needed to go against Woodley. But now I feel now he's probably ready. He's made the situation clear that I'm by myself now. I'm bringing my own coaches. I'm bringing my own teammates. I'm creating my own team, which is going to be great for him, right? Because he's the sole focus of his camp now. It's like Tony Ferguson. You know, if you look at Tony Ferguson, he doesn't train with a team. He has his own team. He has his own coaches, right? And it's worked out very well for him. So I feel like Colby, it could happen the same way. He could hit another level if he does create his own team and get the right coaches and get the right people around him. And he does have a great management group, Bollinger Group. So the business side, I don't think he has to worry about. It's just getting in there and fighting, and he's going to fight. It doesn't matter what anybody else is saying, because Masvidal is just targeting the weaknesses. And of course he's going to do that, because why? He's going to fight Colby eventually. It's going to happen. And just like on the flip side, Colby, he's looking at the weaknesses too of Masvidal. You know what I mean? He's just poking at each other. That's what they're doing. And Usman's doing the same thing when he did his interview a couple of days ago. They're just poking at each other, but none of them have a fight agreed upon, which is so funny to watch.
Yeah, Masvidal made a good point, I thought, as well in that interview with Ariel, where he said, as journalists, why do you guys always just report everything that Colby says? You got to look into it, because he's just talking smack. He says, I'm going to fight, but yeah, he wasn't training here. He wasn't training anywhere. Why do you report that, copy and paste everything? Is that a fair enough point for you? I think there's some substance there. Maybe we need to look at ourselves in the media and stop just saying, oh, Colby's going to come back. He's challenging Woodley. He's challenging Edwards. He's challenging Masvidal. He keeps doing the same thing, but is it real?
It's real when it's time to be real. He's just staying relevant, and that's his job, right? Behind the scenes, he said in an interview that his management group is talking to Dana White, is talking to the UFC, and trying to get a fight put together. And I feel like for Colby, he's not just going to take the first offer. He's going to try to get more money and get the bigger fights. And a lot of the other guys, they're not really worried about the money. They're satisfied with the money that they're getting, and they just want to have a fight coming up, and they want to compete. But it's not like that for Colby. Colby, his mind is different. With the media thing, it's true. Like, I think in 80% of the media, that's what they do. They just report what the fighters say. They don't really dig into it. They just, like when Conor tweets out stuff, they report what Conor tweets out. They don't really dig into it. It's not really they're investigating anything that's going on. So yes, it's true that the media does kind of report things without giving too much consideration, but that's what media has turned into now. It's fast. It's like H&M, you know, H&M and Uniqlo, like the clothes and the fashion flip so quickly. That's like the media and MMA. It's just so fast. Everything changes every day, especially now with the pandemic going on. There's so many fight announcements, so many people talking trash against each other that that's the only way we could keep up, and also half the time, none of us are investigative journalists either.
Well, I'm guilty of it as much as anyone. I think this is how media works, right? Especially in the social media age. And I think, as to paraphrase Eric Cantona, the famous Manchester United football player or soccer for America, it's like seagulls following the trawler, because the journalists used to always just follow him everywhere and report on everything about his life. But yeah, we're desperate for the news because this is our livelihood, isn't it? So we end up doing that. Anyway, that's quite a deep question to get into. So maybe we'll consider that
Yeah.
another day.